This is a day of reckoning, and I'm happy to see it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're counting down our picks for the most infamous times the rudest and most entitled people, better known as Karens, caused so much havoc that they destroyed their lives in one way or another.
Your name? Tabitha, 9766. Thank you, Tabitha. You may not have a job tomorrow.
Number 75, McDonald's Mayhem.
We're still paying the restaurant in Fresno. Yeah.
But they're union though. They are union. Well, you should care. You should have more respect.
No one likes getting the wrong order, but there are far better ways of handling it than how Gina Aiello did in 2023. While at a McDonald's drive-thru in Fresno, California, she criticized the staff before going inside to continue her tirade. However, after hearing how rude she was being, Luis Aceves stepped in, leading to his friend recording the exchange.
It hit a point for you where it was like, I don't care what happens, I need to step in.
Yeah, but then once you started like sitting there telling people, you know, oh, who are you? Look where you work. Look at what you're wearing.
After Aceves defended the workers, Aiello shouted obscenities at him, one of which involved assuming his heritage. She then left, departing with a middle finger, as the other patrons cheered. Well, Aiello's employers, the Jack Ohanesian Dentist and Dental Surgery, weren't too happy. They fired her, pointing out the firm's own stance against racism.
Aceves says he isn't holding any grudges towards Aiello and is wishing her the best.
We shouldn't even be doing this to each other, you know? We shouldn't even be, you know, going at each other like that. We're all struggling. We're all trying to find our purpose in life, and we just, you know, it just sucks that we sometimes have a bad day.
Number 74, Cyclist Rage.
When these trucks come around and hit you and kill you, you're gonna be
just screaming at me like that in a terrifying manner, it's not helpful.
In 2025, Faith, who often showcases her love of cycling on social media, was finishing a 4-hour bike ride in Fuquay Varina, North Carolina. Ronald Curran pulled over in his vehicle to warn her about the route. However, instead of being polite, he did it by blaring his horn and yelling expletives at Faith, who had a radar device on her bike that alerted her to potential dangers.
Video shows he stopped in the middle of the road, then threw it in reverse. That's when Irving pulled out her phone.
Just letting you know, one person has already got killed on this road riding a bike.
Sadly, the radar doesn't take into account road rage. After Faith uploaded her bizarre interaction with Curran, it didn't take long for his employer, A&R Enterprises, to take action. He was swiftly fired for his aggressive behavior. Unsurprisingly, Curran was later arrested for screaming violent threats against someone else.
He tells me Curran had been with the company for 2 years and never had any disciplinary issues. But this behavior is something he couldn't tolerate.
Regardless if they're at work or not, in some type of way, they represent us.
Number 73, Trump threat.
This is a space for being inclusive, and there's no space for hate inside Cazuelas.
In 2025, Ricardo, a Hispanic server at Cazuelas Mexican Cantina in Columbus, Ohio, had the annoying experience of dealing with Stephanie Lovins. When she went to pay with multiple coupons, Ricardo explained the restaurant's policy that she could only use one. Rather than accept it, Lovins argued, but to no avail. Yet she wanted racist revenge. On the receipt, after giving no tip and writing that Ricardo sucks, she then added, "I hope Trump deports you." Yikes.
Another employee took a picture of that receipt and posted it on social media later that day. It's gone viral, getting more than 8,000 likes in less than 24 hours.
The local community rallied behind Ricardo as a crowdfunder was created for him, raising over $40,000. Lovins tried making her own to rebuild her life after departing her employment, but it wasn't as successful and was deleted.
We've learned she's a licensed realtor. In a letter addressing the receipt to members, the Columbus Realtor Board writes she's not a current active member, so they're not able to take action, but are monitoring the situation.
Number 72. Hospice hate.
She started working with the Herring family about a year ago, and immediately once I sat down with Jasmine, Josh, and Meredith Herring, you could instantly feel and see how close and connected they were.
Hospice workers are unsung heroes who provide invaluable comfort to patients. One such person is Jasmine Thomas. However, she nearly had her job forever tainted by John Rosso. In 2025, while driving to work in Aiken, South Carolina, she went by Rosso, who was walking. He got into his car and sped after Thomas. As she sat in her vehicle, Rosso banged the window so hard that she thought it would shatter.
You done lost your mind. You better go on somewhere before I knock you out. I'm not playing. Don't come banging on my window. Do you understand me?
When Thomas rolled it down, Rosso punched her. When she tried to get out, Rosso slammed the door on Thomas, causing her to exit the car on the other side. He continued attacking her, telling her she didn't belong, bringing accusations that this was a racist attack, for which Rosso was later arrested.
It's been scary though. Every time I close my eyes, I think about him. I see him in my head every time I close my eyes. It's like, I don't know. I don't like being shut in a dark room no more.
Number 71, Poetic Justice.
She didn't get a slap on her wrist, so she's going to learn how to work in fast food, and hopefully it'll be good.
Seeing her teenage coworker being yelled at by Rosemary Hain at a Parma, Ohio Chipotle in 2023, Emily Russell, like a good egg, stepped in. However, this resulted in Hain chucking her hot burrito bowl in Russell's face, causing burns, which later led to her quitting.
A video from an Ohio Chipotle from last month showing a customer throwing hot food right in the face of one of the workers, and now she has been sentenced to an unusual punishment for that assault.
Hain justified her behavior by claiming the food looked disgusting. After being charged for the attack, she was sentenced to 180 days in jail, with 90 suspended. However, there was a unique proposition. Hain could consent to work at least 20 hours a week for 2 months at a fast food restaurant, cutting her time in jail to 30 days. She agreed to the latter.
I'll bet you're not going to be happy with the food you're about to get in the jail.
Whew. And Rosemary Haynes will have some time to form an educated opinion about that.
Number 70, Pool Police.
She says it's people like you that comes to the pool that's not authorized. Who's people like me?
In 2020, Anita Wright, also known as Anita Williams Wright online, was with her family enjoying the swimming pool at the Hampton Inn in Williamston, North Carolina, as they were staying there, not on one worker's watch. The unidentified Karen ignored the white pool goers and focused on Wright's family, who are black, and inquired if they were guests at the inn. To escalate it further, the Karen called the police, believing the family wasn't staying there. Wright live-streamed the interaction on her Facebook accounts. The police quickly discovered they were guests after reviewing the check-in information. Hilton, who owns the Hampton Inn, confirmed that the Karen was no longer working there.
Hilton tells us that staffer is no longer employed at the hotel. Police say they will conduct a thorough investigation.
Number 69, I Feel Threatened.
If he doesn't have his mask on and someone asks him politely, you know.
But the man shooting the video says this man started yelling and harassing the older woman.
All people had to do during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic was to respect others' space and wear a mask. However, that was far too much for Daniel Maples to follow, apparently. While at the Costco in Fort Myers, Florida, he was understandably questioned why he wasn't using a face mask. Maples, wearing an eye-rolling t-shirt stating, "Running the world since 1776, proceeded to aggressively stomp towards the person recording. He yelled, "I feel threatened," all while telling them to back off, despite his moving towards them. Baffling. The police later arrived, but he had already been escorted from the store by workers. After the clip went viral on social media, Maples was publicly fired by his employer, Ted Todd Insurance.
The guy didn't want to respect the rules.
A rule.
I feel threatened!
Unmasking a lot of emotion.
Threaten me again!
Number 68, School Bus Slurs.
I was raised not to take disrespect, even though I didn't say anything. It was just kind of shocking to me how she talked to me that way, even though she doesn't know me.
In 2025, Samantha Spohr got onto a Mayock Middle School bus in North Carolina. Her child had been allegedly tormented by other kids, so Spohr, who stated she tried going through the authorities to little impact, decided to take the matter into her own hands in the worst way possible. While at the front of the bus, she yelled expletives at her son's alleged tormentors, threatening them with violence, and threw in racial slurs too.
Sit the down. Ain't none of y'all gonna do
Words no child should hear when riding a school bus, but for Savannah Bailey, she and other students heard that and more.
Unfortunately for Spore, one student recorded her rant. Spore was soon arrested and charged. She stated that while she didn't regret what she did regret using slurs. Spore also removed her son from the school.
School officials sent 10 on Your Side a statement that said this type of behavior is unacceptable and furthermore is prohibited by law. We are fully cooperating with the investigation and reviewing our transportation procedures.
Number 67, the Pilates gatekeeper.
I think the reason why I posted them was because I think there are some insecurities in me and some self-hate or something. But my membership got revoked.
People exercising, no matter their size, should be celebrated. However, apparently this isn't something Monica Cruz agrees with. In 2025, she released a TikTok video after attending a session at Club Pilates Quarry Market in Texas. Carrie sulked that people who weigh 200 pounds shouldn't go to Pilates, and those with a gut shouldn't teach it.
There's no reason why they should allow 200-pound people in a level 2 class. Or you shouldn't be allowed to be a Pilates instructor if you have a gut and you're fat.
Before uttering the annoying phrase, "Sorry, not sorry," social media heavily criticized Cruz for her comments. She then uploaded an apology video where she disclosed that not only did she lose her job at Stone Ridge Dental, but her membership was revoked at the Pilates studio. As confirmed by the company in an Instagram video, Cruz was also banned from all Club Pilates locations.
We wholeheartedly reject this kind of harmful behavior. Our mission, genuinely, is to create an inclusive, supportive, empowering space where all individuals, regardless of size, shape, age, gender, ability, feel welcome and celebrated just for being them, and this will never change.
Number 66, devil-caused racist comments.
She forgot the final speech, so she dismissed us all at first. She told everybody to come back, and the parent got mad and told his child to come on.
When people make a mistake, the right thing to do is apologize and explain. However, Nancy Gorduke took a very different, very wrong approach. In 2015, during TNT Academy's graduation in Stone Mountain, Georgia, Principal Gorduke realized she accidentally forgot the valedictorian speech. Presumably thinking the ceremony was over, people began to leave, causing her to erupt. After calling the crowd rude, Gorduke then claimed that it was all the black people leaving.
It was my fault that we missed it in the program.
People walking out.
Look who's leaving, all the black people.
Later, after all the backlash, she apologized but bizarrely stated it felt like the devil was in the house, as it was apparently out of character. It didn't help her cause when her son defended her with racial slurs on Facebook. Regardless, Gorduke was fired by TNT's board.
We stopped by Gorduke's house, but her husband told us she was too emotionally drained to speak with us. We did get our hands on the apology letter that she sent to parents.
Number 65, social media salute.
Well, it certainly looked bad. I can't speculate to what his intent was, and I think it's important to separate intent versus impact here.
X, better known as Twitter, became a strange, confusing place after Elon Musk bought the platform. In 2025, he drew massive controversy for seemingly doing a far-right salute at Donald Trump's presidential inauguration.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Well, for some reason, supporters have copied this and have been shocked by the negative response. In February 2025, Carly Minnick, who has a history of problematic content, posted a photo of herself via her X account in response to people who felt her account was a sham. She thought posing while doing the salute was the right call. It was not. 2 days later, she uploaded another picture, looking very sad in the car, with the caption stating that she got fired. Uh-oh. Number 64, Park Ranger Karen.
A couple of times out of the week, this lake is absolutely beautiful, as you can see.
not a lot of people bother you or anything like that until there are.
One of the most frustrating types of racism from Karens is the passive-aggressive variety. In 2023, Anthony Gibson was fishing at his neighborhood lake in Newman, Georgia, having been previously accosted by other white people. When Tanya Petty arrived, Gibson recorded the interaction. All smiles and friendly, she immediately assumed he and his fishing partner weren't residents, as she claimed only those living here could fish in the lake.
All right, well, this lake is supposedly for residents only. So, thank you for filming. I'm not giving you permission to film, so
She's not.
take a picture of your license plates and forward it on.
When she realized she was being recorded, Petty began complaining and stating she didn't give permission for Gibson to film her, causing her to walk off. When word of the incident got back to Seaglass Therapy, which employed Petty as an independent contractor massage therapist, she was fired.
I have a whole page dedicated to this. And so, here we go. Again, I live here and people don't think I live here because it's a nice neighborhood and they want to bother me and harass me, so they call the police all the time.
Number 63, Paris Punch.
Moi, je l'ai insulté et du coup, lui, ça l'a encore plus énervé. Il est revenu en arrière et donc il m'a frappé.
One key attribute of a Karen is being entitled, and you don't get much more entitled than kicking off when your advances are rejected. In 2018, Marie Laguerre was walking past a cafe in Paris, France, when she crossed paths with a man known as Firas M. Recorded on the cafe's CCTV, Laguerre stated he had made crude, sexist comments and sounds towards her.
I think they reacted perfectly, because if they had punched him or anything, he would have been, the law would have been against the witnesses. So what we could have done is call the police, but I won't blame them to not call the police, because even me, I didn't think about it.
When she walked off after admonishing him, Firas' rejection rage took over. After throwing an ashtray at her and thankfully missing, Firas stomped over to Laguerre and punched her. The cafe's patrons soon got involved to stop him. Firas was later sentenced to 6 months in prison and had to undergo a course in gender-related violence.
L'agresseur de Marie Laguerre vient d'être condamné à 1 an de prison, dont 6 mois avec sursis pour violence aggravée.
Le comportement de l'agressée est indéniablement lié à la condition de femme de Marie Laguerre, a affirmé le procureur.
Number 62. Heart of Stone.
The first thing that it would probably resonate with all my players is that they're capable of more than they think they are. And that's something that we talk about from day one and consistently throughout their career.
Give a Karen an inch of power and they'll take it all. In 1994, Katie Stone became the head coach of the Harvard Crimson women's ice hockey team. For nearly 2 decades, while she was coaching her team to many trophies, behind the scenes, it was a very different experience for the players. In 2023, allegations came out that Stone had subjected her squad to hazing and abuse. This included reports that she'd subjected Indigenous athletes to racial discrimination and forced players to return before recovering from injuries, causing many to leave over the years.
Boston Globe first reported that during a tirade in the locker room, she accused the team of not showing her enough respect and said they were becoming a group of skaters with, quote, too many Chiefs and not enough Indians, end quote. 2 Indigenous players from Canada were present.
Several months after the allegations were reported, Stone was forced into retirement with all her accomplishments now severely tainted.
It's very important that we make sure that those are being held accountable, that are behaving in a way that, conveys hate.
Number 61, trad wife slur.
I know what the problem is, but we'll have to save that for the Rumble show, okay? Because here we're not allowed to discuss real facts. Okay, but we can dog whistle, all right?
One niche trend of recent years is the rise of trad wives on social media, showcasing more traditional views of relationships and the roles of women. Lily Gaddis decided she wanted more attention. In 2024, she was live streaming herself cooking when she suddenly ranted and used derogatory words about women and immigrants before slipping in a racial slur.
Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass and they don't care. We don't give a about your money.
As Gaddis received backlash on social media and saw her various accounts deleted, she uploaded another video where she mocked the outrage.
All the backlash just really made me, just really do a deep dive, like do a soul search. And after all that, I still couldn't find a care.
Unfortunately for her, Gaddis was swiftly fired from the home health firm Rofe of the Carolinas. Since then, Gaddis started rubbing shoulders with the far right while mentioning free speech whenever possible. Number 60. Photo booth brawl.
As the local police launched the probe and the footage spread online, many in Vietnam were outraged.
In 2025, 2 Vietnamese women in Hanoi were using a store's photo booth as 2 South Korean women waited for their turn. Unfortunately, one of the women didn't want to wait any longer. This Karen demanded the women in the booth hurry up. It then escalated to the Karen attacking one of the women, grabbing her hat and then pulling her hair. A brawl erupted, even spilling into the store, as the other women and staff tried to break it up. One of the Korean women claimed to have offered to pay medical expenses, but the victims denied they'd gotten the money. Not long after, the Karen was fired by her employer.
Meanwhile, the perpetrator argued without much effect that she too is a victim whose personal information has been leaked.
Number 59. Football fury.
And so I said, have you looked in the mirror yourself? And he said, yeah, but I'm a man. I'm allowed to be ugly. You're a woman.
In 2025, Green Bay Packers fan Allie Keller and her fiancé Alex Becerra went to the Lincoln Financial Field to watch their team take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only did the duo see the Packers lose, but Keller was also the victim of misogynistic abuse from Eagles supporter Ryan Caldwell, which Becerra caught on camera. When the footage went online, Caldwell apologized for their aggressive words but claimed they were provoked into the rant against Keller.
The Eagles now banning that fan from the team stadium for life after he unleashed this vulgar tirade.
That weak defense didn't stop their employer, BCT Partners, who specialize in consulting businesses about diversity practices, from firing Caldwell. On top of that, Caldwell was also banned from attending Eagles home games.
I talked with the company co-founders just a little bit ago.
It was not indicative of his behavior at BCT Partners, nor with engaged with our work.
Number 58. Anti-protest Karen.
Holt tonight expressed regret for her now viral comments. She said her original intent for going to the protest was to show support for police officers.
Seemingly, the Keith Family Vision Clinic in Johnson City, Tennessee, didn't have great perception when it came to hiring Sonia Holt. In 2020, a Black Lives Matter protest was taking place in Elizabethton. Holt was there as part of a white person counter-protest as the group jeered the BLM supporters. However, somehow, it got way worse. Holt was recorded yelling abuse at one of the teenage protesters. She chanted, "White lives matter, white lives are better," and dropped in homophobic insults and threats that people will burn in hell.
Gay, homosexual, piece of crap is going to burn in hell.
There's very little that will hurt anymore because I did grow up being gay, so there's very little that can hurt.
Charming. With the outrage over the footage online, Holt apologized for her words. Her apology to her racist behavior didn't stop her employer from firing her, however.
Holt also told us she did lose her job because of that confrontation, but she has respect for her former employer.
Number 57. Panera Bread hate crime.
At first, I didn't know what she said, so I was smiling at her and asking what she said. I thought she said something nice to me. But then she came closer to me and went to my face and said, "Are you Palestinian?"
In 2024, Alexandra Sostakiewicz couldn't just collect her Panera Bread order in Downers Grove, Illinois, and go on her merry way. Nope, not when she saw Wasim Zoran and his wife waiting for their lunch while he was wearing a hoodie with Palestine written on it. Sostakiewicz marched towards them, and once she confirmed Zoran and his wife were Palestinian, she attacked while screaming expletives about the country.
Call the police.
Zoran is standing between his wife and the woman and is seen repeatedly holding her arms and pushing her back. Here's what he calls a turning point.
Sustakiewicz as well tried to throw hot coffee at Zoran's pregnant wife, who recorded a portion of the altercation. For her unhinged behavior, Sustakiewicz was later arrested and charged with multiple counts of hate crimes.
I didn't do anything. He just stepped in front of me, and I said, well, I don't like what you're wearing.
She's facing 2 felony hate crime counts and 1 count of misdemeanor disorderly conduct.
Number 56, Uber hate crime.
It was burning you.
Yes, it's burning last 2 hours.
In 2024, working as an Uber driver in New York City as the main income for his family in Bangladesh, Shoail Mahmood was hoping to complete another shift without incident. However, he sadly had Jennifer Gilbo and her friend as passengers. While waiting at a red light, Mahmood prayed, which enraged Gilbo. She leaned forward and pepper sprayed the driver while hitting him as he tried to escape the attack.
What? Shoail insists he hadn't said a word to the ladies. The other passenger appears just as stunned.
Done what?
Repeatedly asking her friend why she was doing this.
According to Mahmood, when Gilbo's friend questioned why she did it, she responded, "He's brown." On top of being fired by her employers, the PR firm D. Pagan Communications, Gilbo pleaded guilty to harassment, earning her 100 hours of community service and had to undertake a bias training course.
To further protect himself and other drivers, Mahmood is still figuring out how he can put a barrier between himself and other passengers in the car, similar to what you would see in a taxi.
Number 55, Apple Justice.
Now, court documents say 19-year-old Micaiah Coleman was at the checkpoint in Terminal 4 when she got upset because an agent took her apple juice.
Sure, the liquid limitation rules when traveling on a plane are a little annoying. However, as it's necessary, there are far better ways to handle it than Micaiah Coleman did in 2023. While at the Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix, Arizona, she went into a rage when her apple juice was taken from her by the TSA officers. So Coleman tried to get it back. When that didn't work, she got onto a table and fought the officers. Coleman elbowed one in the head, giving them a concussion, and ripped the attire of another. As well as punching one officer in the face repeatedly, she also bit some of the workers. Unsurprisingly, Coleman was arrested. In 2024, she was sentenced to 4 months in jail.
2 of the officers were treated at the hospital following the attack, the TSA calling it unprovoked, brazen, and unacceptable. Coleman, meanwhile, telling the judge,
I'm pregnant, sir.
Number 54, Sidewalk Lies.
I'm on the board, along with another board member. Would you like to see the... No, we're well aware. He tried to run us down on the sidewalk. I did not.
In 2022, Whitney Gregory was apprehensive about her son, Jeffrey, riding his bike around their neighborhood in Santa Ana, California. After all, he was nearly hit by a car before. So Gregory advised Jeffrey to use the sidewalk, which is legal. As he was testing his new camera out on the ride, Susan Garcia appeared, causing him to slow down. She grabbed Jeffrey's bike, demanding he get off the sidewalk. As he politely asked her to not touch him and went to move away, Garcia struck Jeffrey and then stated she'd do it again.
Get the hell off the sidewalk now.
Excuse me?
Get off the sidewalk.
Please don't touch me. Why'd you just hit me?
Want me to hit you again?
What the is wrong with you?
Then she went to Gregory and told her that Jeffrey tried to run her down. However, the video showed the real story. Garcia was soon arrested and charged with assault.
The family says this isn't their first encounter with Garcia, although they hope it's their last one.
Immediately after I saw that video, I called the police, and they came out and we did a police report, pressed charges.
Number 53, Racist Restaurant Rant.
Yeah, you don't come in here and you say those kinds of things to people, you know, and especially people feel so raw coming out of the quarantine, right? Most of these people, this is the first time that they've been out to dinner.
In 2020, it was a celebratory night for the Arosa Chan family at the restaurant Bernardus Lodge and Spa in Carmel Valley, California, as one member enjoyed their birthday. However, Michael Lofthouse's presence there soon turned their night sour for whatever reason. He verbally laid into the family with Asian heritage, uttering racist expletives and threatening them with Donald Trump's administration.
You need to leave.
Oh, you need
You
to
do not
leave.
talk no, about you need like to leave.
What's wrong
You
with
need
you?
to leave. Asian piece of
Oh my God.
A server at the restaurant, Janika Cochran, was furious at the situation. She stepped in and demanded that Lofthouse leave, which he eventually did. With all the backlash, he released a public apology to the family. However, that didn't stop Lofthouse from being forced to leave as the CEO of tech startup company Salad8.
He was full of hate and anger. It's sad that there's still people that are like that in this world.
Number 52. Skirt shamer.
She says the encounter startled her and she felt violated. So, how short was Avery's skirt? She posted this video.
Apparently, if you claim to work for the state, you get to police what other people are wearing. At least that's what Ida Lorenzo stated in 2024, while at a restaurant in St. George, Utah. She went up to a group of young women and yanked on the skirt of one to pull it down, believing it to be too short and claiming she was protecting children.
It's protecting a kid by covering their private parts.
Correct, but that's not your job to do.
Lorenzo insists she did the right thing.
Later, Lorenzo wanted to be more of a cliche by claiming to the cops that everyone behind her applauded her actions. As well as being fired from the Utah Attorney General's office, the fashion cop agreed to a plea deal, earning her no sentence, as long as Lorenzo avoids crime for a year.
No one should ever go up and put hands on someone else based on their disagreement with what they're wearing.
Leading to Lorenzo's arrest and on Thursday, a charge from the Washington County Attorney for sexual battery.
Number 51. Neighbor nuisance.
American citizen property owner. American citizen property owner.
For over a year, Fatima Suarez's family was hounded by Judy Klein at their home in St. Louis, Missouri. She'd shouted racist abuse and slurs at them, broken inside, and attacked the property with a hammer. Yet little was done. But when Suarez released some of the doorbell footage online, it all changed in 2023. Klein, despite her family having sold the property decades before, seemingly thought she had a say in who lived there and that it gave her the right to be a racist menace.
This morning, a St. Louis woman is now facing charges after allegedly terrorizing a family, several incidents caught on doorbell camera video.
American citizen angry at you.
The backlash of the footage and the overabundance of evidence of the harassment led the cops to arrest her. In 2024, after pleading guilty, Klein received 5 years of probation.
Fatima Suarez believes the likes and shares racking up made enough noise.
I want to see action. I want to see her get locked up or go to a mental facility or something, but I want to see the proof that they're going to do something about it.
Number 50. Spanish slander. It's amazing how some Karens get ticked off simply by hearing a non-English language. In 2023, while collecting an order from Amy's Pizzeria in Hatboro, Pennsylvania, Rita Ballou heard Spanish on the TV.
You want to tell me Spanish on your TV?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Because you're not American, dude.
Police used this video as part of their investigation.
This was enough to cause Ballou to bellow anti-Spanish rhetoric at the restaurant's co-owner. She threatened to have him removed from the area and claimed he was an illegal immigrant. To top it off, Ballou declared speaking Spanish was insulting to the U.S. as her father served in World War II. Right. In 2024, Ballou was sentenced for harassment and ethnic intimidation, receiving 90 days of probation and 8 hours of community service.
The rant went on for several minutes, but throughout it all, Omar remained calm.
I was angry, but I'll explain that. I just want to be like them.
Number 49. Kentucky Karen. In 2022, Kyla Spring was working the night shift at a campus dormitory at the University of Kentucky. It was a nice and uneventful time until an intoxicated Sophia Rosing walked in to ruin everything with her white privilege.
A University of Kentucky student caught on camera using racial slurs and getting physical after a night out.
After Spring denied Rosing entry for refusing to show her ID, she attacked the worker, even throwing in racial slurs. When the police arrived, Rosing told them she had lots of money and got special treatment. Then she attacked them as well, even biting one of the officers, resulting in her arrest.
Rosing was arrested and charged with alcohol intoxication in a public place, third-degree assault of a police officer, fourth-degree assault, and disorderly conduct.
After the incident went viral, the college banned Rosing from the campus and re-enrolling. In 2023, despite the video evidence, she pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Number 48. Anti-tourist Karen. In 2023, a group of German tourists were chit-chatting on the train to New York City. For most people, this would be fine. But Brianna Pinnix isn't like most people. After overhearing the group speak German, the intoxicated passenger launched into a furious rant against the group.
Are you German?
Seemingly unaware of the existence of such a thing as tourists, Pinnix told the immigrants to get out of her country. Pinnix's poor partner pleaded with her to stop, or he wouldn't speak to her again.
Breathe, do not do this. Breathe, do not do this, you're gonna get arrested. I can handle my own. Breathe.
He even mentioned she knows that he's an immigrant. Yikes. Due to her xenophobic tirade, Pinnix employers, capital RX, publicly fired the talent acquisition specialist. In 2024, she released a website promoting her employment history that mentions her compassion many, many times. Number 47. HEB Havoc. It should be pretty clear that using the 10 items or less line at a store, you shouldn't have over that figure. However, in 2023, Linda Uka ignored this.
Deputies say on Thursday, Linda UK got upset when the worker would not let her use a self-checkout because she had more than 10 items.
At an HEB store in Spring, Texas, she was livid after not being allowed to use the self-checkout due to excess produce. Did she leave it alone and go home quietly? Of course not. Uka returned to the store later with a friend. They shockingly attacked the employee who stopped her from using the self-checkout.
Deputies say she came back inside the store and pulled the employee's hair and then slapped her.
The duo then left, but were identified and arrested later. On top of being banned from HEB properties in Harris County, Uka was also charged with misdemeanor assaults. Number 46. The color homophobia. In 2019, Seyi Omuba was set to be in the stage play The Color Purple in the UK.
I didn't know if I could even play it. It's such an amazing story, and there's so much depth to it that I was worried. I was like, am I worthy of playing such an amazing character?
However, that all came crashing down when her past homophobic views were exposed on social media by actor Aaron Lee Lambert. Omuba was meant to play the role of Selly, who has a lesbian relationship in the source material, although Omuba denied the character was a lesbian. Due to the backlash, not only did the production drop Omuba from the role, but her agency also washed its hands of her. In 2021, suing because she claimed she was discriminated against due to her religion, Omuba lost a tribunal and was ordered to pay legal costs amounting to over £300,000.
If I have to go through this situation, so that other Christians don't have to, in the long run, that they can be Christians and still perform on stage, and they can be vocal about their faith and their belief system.
Number 45. Millionaire slavers. You don't get much more entitled than forcing people to be slaves. In 2007, a woman was found on the streets in a disheveled state.
The trial has helped bring to light the vulnerability of illegal immigrants to the U.S. who are often forced to work as domestic help, as it's one of the few jobs that those who are without a work permit can get.
She, along with another woman, had been forced to work as housekeepers at the Long Island, New York home of millionaire couple Varsha and Mahendra Sabnani. The two women had been subjected to horrible abuse over several years after the wealthy couple took their passports. When the woman was rescued, it led to the Sabnanis being arrested. In 2008, Mahendra was sentenced to 3.5 years in jail and fined $12,500. Varsha, who the women say was responsible for the abuse, was sentenced to 11 years.
The prosecution stressed the shocking fact that this did not happen in the 1800s. This happened in the 21st century in New York.
Number 44. Pool Patrol Paula. In 2018, teenager Darshan Rockwamore Simmons was invited by a friend to a community swimming pool in Somerville, South Carolina. Rather than having a fun time in the water on a hot day, he was accosted by Stephanie Sebi Strempel.
Get out! Get out! Get out now!
She was filmed telling the teens they didn't belong there and even assaulted them. The victims also stated she used racial slurs against them. When the police arrived, Sebi Strempel made it even worse on herself by shoving one into a wall and biting another on the arm.
She's alleged to have, when she was being arrested, pushed one officer and hurt him and bit another, breaking the skin. Her bond was set at $65,000 earlier today.
Due to her vile actions, Sebi Strempel was dropped as an independent consultant for skincare company Rodan & Fields. After pleading guilty to her charges, Sebi Strempel was fined $1,000. Number 43. Hate mail barrage. Suzanne Kraft was a nightmare neighbor for folk living near her in Louisville, Kentucky. With a history of targeting non-white residents by spray painting racist imagery and slurs on their property, she turned her attention to an interracial couple.
Kraft was convicted of mailing threatening communications to a neighboring family in the Lake Forest subdivision where she lives. Those threats included spray painting racial slurs on the family's driveway.
In 2020, after Kraft ignored a no-contact order multiple times and saw legal consequences, she began mailing the household hate-filled letters threatening their lives. To add further intimidation, some even contained bullets. Due to this and constantly breaking orders, Kraft was arrested for her litany of letters. In 2023, she was found guilty and sentenced to 9 years in jail, followed by 3 years of supervised release.
A jury convicted Kraft of sending those messages because of her neighbor's perceived skin color.
Number 42. Canada Karen. In 2019, Daniela Leese made the dreadful decision of drinking at a Marilyn Manson concert and then driving back to her neighborhood in London, Ontario. Leese crashed into a house, hitting a gas line.
Leese did get behind the wheel. According to the agreed statement of facts at her criminal trial, she crashed her vehicle into a home on Woodman Avenue, severing the gas line and causing an explosion.
While she was on fire, the accident set off an explosion that caused 15 million Canadian dollars worth of damages to various buildings. Thankfully, nobody lost their lives. However, there were several injuries. In 2021, Leese was sentenced to 3 years in jail.
In October 2020, Leese pleaded guilty to 4 counts of impaired driving causing bodily harm, ultimately being sentenced to 3 years in prison.
In 2023, upon being issued with several lawsuits, some of which went into the millions, Leese decided to sue the company that supplied the venue where she got intoxicated during that fateful night. Number 41. Taco Terror. In 2023, workers at a Tacos Ortiz stand in Los Angeles, California, were in for a bad shift. In the past, Renee Latrice Hines had taken food without paying several times. This time, the staff refused to serve her, which is completely justified.
Police say after Renee Hines ate the tacos and didn't pay, she went back to her car and came back with pepper spray.
However, Hines didn't see it that way. Instead, she had a massive temper tantrum. On top of screaming abuse, trashing the stand, and physically attacking them with her limbs and an advertisement board, Hines also used tear gas on the workers. Unsurprisingly, she was arrested and charged for the assaults. But the cherry on the justice top was that Hines was fired as a temporary contractor at Houston Logistics America.
Her boss, Ash Wahi, is CEO of a staffing agency.
My first reaction was anger. Why? Why somebody has to do something like this when somebody's just trying to feed their family? We found out about her actions at 6:30 in the morning this morning, and she was terminated at 8:30.
Number 40. Horse hitter. Karens have a habit of punching down to make themselves feel superior. And Sarah Moulds went a step further in 2021 when she took part in the Cottesmore Hunt in England. When attempting to get her horse, named Bruce Almighty, into a trailer, Moulds was filmed hitting and kicking the animal in frustration. Once the video found its way to the internet, it all went very wrong for Moulds. On top of being booted from her volunteer role at a pony club and future hunt events, Moulds also lost her job as a school teacher and was investigated by the animal charity RSPCA. She was charged with criminal cruelty, but was found not guilty in 2023. Number 39. Mace Malice. In 2020, after a cop spotted her driving erratically and indicated she should stop, Karina Weymouth Bell eventually halted on an off-ramp and proceeded to make her situation a million times worse.
Idaho State Police say 21-year-old Karina Weymouth Bell was swerving in and out of traffic on I-84 on Friday.
Weymouth Bell jumped out of her car and approached the officer with a mace canister in her hand. After pushing the cop's car door into him and believing her intimidation tactic worked, Weymouth Bell went back to her car.
That's when Weymouth Bell aggressively approached the trooper, pointed a can of mace at him, and slammed the trooper's door.
With this opportunity, the officer fired a taser, dropping her to the concrete. After being taken to the hospital to treat her injuries, Weymouth Bell was arrested on several charges, including assault and battery on a cop, possessing substances, and driving without a license. Number 38. California consequences. It's bonkers that Karens think spouting racism publicly is okay and nothing will happen to them. In 2021, a Twitter user known as M posted about an incident she experienced in Brentwood, California. M said she was minding her own business on a street when a man came out of his house and began harassing her.
And no one's gonna pay attention to you. Because you're dumb.
She started filming, and his bigoted views soon tumbled out. Later identified as Michael Dawson, he criticized her colored hair and threw in some anti-Asian insults mixed with misogyny.
I can record you dumb bitch. I can record you, too.
What a treasure. As the video spread, Dawson's employers, real estate company Beach City Brokers, soon saw it and made a public statement that he'd been fired for his offensive rant. Number 37. Halifax horror. We've all drunk too much at some point and done silly things. It happens. But Justine Morrison couldn't blame the beverages for her atrocious behavior in 2023.
Oh my God, you must be so proud. Oh, you're working on a door.
After getting rowdy on a night out at a bar in Halifax, England, Morrison was escorted from the establishment by the doorman, Dally Wiley. When outside, Morrison argued sarcastically with Wiley and spat racial insults at him, using the term black with a sneer. Unsurprisingly, she was banned from the bar permanently.
You
Fine.
black
Thanks, lads.
man.
Thanks, lads.
Black.
That video is
That's
good.
why you get a name.
After the incident gained attention, her employer, Shine Theater Arts, fired her from her part-time accountancy role. Morrison was also arrested and handed a police caution as long as she accepted responsibility and took part in a restorative justice program. Number 36. Unsolicited opinions. Some people love giving you their opinion when you don't want or need it. In 2021, teenager Mia was enjoying the weather with friends at a beach in Fort Collins, Colorado. Well, Logan Dorn didn't like this.
Young guys into consideration, they don't need to see pornography right in
We're
front of
not
their
coming
eyes.
up to you, bothering you. Please go away.
You're flaunting your stuff.
I'm not flaunting anything. Don't look at me.
He decided to tell them their bathing costumes were explicit and used his Christian faith to try and shame them. After Mia released her video on the incident, Dorn made a video explaining his actions and regretted them. Kidding. He doubled down and claimed he was filled with righteous anger over their outfits, which is weird.
In that moment, just a righteous anger to defend and protect young eyes came over me. And so I just started to speak truth that, hey, what you're wearing is not okay, that you can't find your worth in your body.
Dorn's employers, the Christian building company Mighty Hand Construction, released a statement condemning his behavior and fired him after a brief investigation into his harassment. Number 35. Underground ignorance. There aren't many that enjoy being on the underground in London. Commuters want to get through it with minimal fuss and go about their days. Well, Jacqueline Woodhouse wasn't going to allow anyone an easy ride in 2012.
Woodhouse's outrageous behaviour was filmed by a passenger who protested.
Watch what you say.
Watch what?
Yeah, watch what you're saying.
I used to live in England, now I live in the United Nations.
So keep your mouth shut then.
The intoxicated Woodhouse went on a massive racist tirade at anyone on the tube that didn't appear white. She claimed the country had been overtaken, uttered various stereotypes, and threatened people with violence.
I think Jacqueline Woodhouse got off pretty lightly, actually. I just hope she can learn from this and hopefully change her ways, and whether it change her views, I don't know.
On top of losing her job over this event, Woodhouse, who was involved in a similar incident in 2008, was arrested and sentenced up to 21 weeks in jail for her racially charged harassment. Number 34. Anarchy with the monarchy. Being anti-monarchy is okay in this day and age, but perhaps taking your royal rage out on a toddler isn't going to influence people to your views. In 2016, Angela Gibbons, a senior manager at the charity The British Council, decided to slander Prince George in a Facebook post that drew a lot of attention from the media. Since Queen Elizabeth II was a patron of the charity at the time, the firm fired Gibbons for the scandal. She took the British Council to a tribunal for unfair dismissal against her Republican stance. However, Gibbons' case was dismissed since she insulted a child publicly. Number 33. Banking Karen. In 2021, with the pandemic in full effect, many establishments required folk to wear a face mask inside, which was understandable. But Terry Wright wasn't doing that at a Bank of America branch in Galveston, Texas. Even after being offered one by the employees, she remained adamant and refused to leave. So the cops arrived.
Businesses have the right to refuse service, even if you're not wearing a mask. That's their choice. Awesome. Well, you need to go and get a mask and then take your money out.
But Wright wrongly believed she was on public property and wouldn't exit. Seeing no option, the officer arrested her. Amazingly, Wright was heard on the body cam yelling it was police brutality, only for jaded customers to counter that it wasn't.
Not relaxed at all.
Right here, people.
Wright even did something similar days later at an Office Depot in Texas City. For her bank statement, she received 12 days in prison for trespassing and resisting arrest. Number 32. Teacher of disrespect. This might surprise some Karens, but there are many religions in the world. Just because you happen to follow one doesn't mean you can be disrespectful to those who follow another. In 2022, Muslim students were praying in a room at Franklin Academy in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
The video starts with tranquil music and two boys reciting an Islamic prayer.
In a video they recorded, an unidentified teacher walked in and interrupted what she distastefully described as magic. As well as blowing a whistle and mentioning Jesus, the terrible teacher stood on a prayer mat and on one of the students' hands. This hateful act didn't sit well with the school, which fired the teacher.
The name of that teacher has not been released, but she lost her job.
Number 31. Mask tyranny. Some Karen politicians think the rules don't apply to them. Unfortunately for their egos, they very much do. In 2021, Alaska State Senator Laura Reinbold, who has a history of spreading pandemic misinformation and labeling mask mandates as tyranny, was recorded arguing with Alaska Airlines employee over their face covering rules to such an extent that the police stepped in. After the incident, Reinbold was banned by Alaska Airlines. This was a problem since they were the only company that made regular trips to the state's capital, Juneau, where Reinbold needed to vote and do her job.
Alaska Airlines is the only carrier that flies from her home district near Anchorage to the state capital in Juneau. Reinbold will now drive hundreds of miles into Canada and take a 5-hour ferry, a journey she documented on Facebook.
As such, she asked to be excused from attending the Senate until a later date. Her request was granted. Number 30. Tram Karen. Public transport seems to bring out the worst in some Karens. In 2011, Emma West sat on a train in Croydon, England, with a child balanced on her lap. For some reason, she went off on a tirade of abuse to other passengers, such as claiming one person wasn't British since they were black. Yikes.
Until we let you lot come over.
So what? So what
Yes,
is your
so
British
what?
country?
So
What?
what?
So what?
Yes, my
So
British
what?
country.
Now
You
you
ain't
call me
British.
black.
West was soon arrested for verbally abusing people. However, due to her lawyers arguing she was unfit to stand trial because of a history of violent episodes, she wasn't sentenced until 2013, when she received a 24-month community order.
We don't tolerate racism within the rail infrastructure, but I would like to urge the travelling public that this is a rare event and it's representative of a very, very small minority of people.
West was also struck off as a nurse by the General Dental Council for bringing the profession into disrepute. Number 29. Vicious vacation. Most people relax on the beach on vacation, perhaps enjoying a book and a cocktail in the sun, but not Adam Katsavelos. In 2018, the South African was holidaying in Greece when he recorded a video of himself ranting with some slurs, stating it was heaven on earth since there were no black people there. Wow.
You hear Adam expressing his delight that there are no black people around, even using the K word to convey his satisfaction.
Unsurprisingly, people were furious. The backlash caused a boycott of Katsavelos' family business, forcing them to fire him. Even Nike had to make a statement as Katsavelos' wife worked for them. To make matters worse, he had to face legal action. In 2020, after pleading guilty to crimen injuria, Katsavelos was sentenced to a $3,300 fine or 2 years in jail. Both options suspended for 5 years.
I'm hopeful that in making this acknowledgement and apology, I will be forgiven and be able to restore my confidence and participate in all aspects of life in South Africa, including the building of social cohesion.
Number 28, not learning a lesson. Getting fired from her job at Rent Me Superstore in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for a racist rant at a customer wasn't enough for Tara Lynn Belcher in 2015. Nope, she needed to do more. For some reason.
According to a Myrtle Beach police report, it was 28-year-old Tara Belcher seen on this video yelling racial slurs.
Upon leaving the shop, an unidentified man who had witnessed the event followed her outside, recording her on his phone to shame her online later. Later, Belcher claimed the man attacked her. However, as the police investigated, they found a very different story.
And once they seen the video, they seen that story that she told them was not the truth.
Belcher uttered several racial slurs at the man and then spat at him. He retaliated with a slap before a scuffle broke out between them. Belcher was soon arrested for assault, battery, and possession of banned substances. Number 27, Brooklyn Karen. Some Karens don't take a moment to check they have all the correct information. In 2021, author Frederick Joseph and his fiancée were walking their dog in a Brooklyn dog park. Suddenly, they were approached by Emma Sarley, who mixed up their dog with another that barked a lot. She then told him to stay in his hood.
She's like, "You're not from around here. Go back to your hood. Stay in your hood. Stay in your hood." So I'm like, "Stay in my hood," right? Like, you're being racist right now.
Yikes. When Joseph began recording her, Sarley pretended that didn't happen and tried to twist it that they were telling her that. Joseph then got support from witness Steve Tracy, who confirmed she had told the couple to stay in their hood.
You were right here, watch this entire thing. Did she just not stand here and tell us to stay in our hood? She did.
Yeah, as those words were coming out and things started to unfold, it was pretty obvious to me, like, this is not okay.
Sarley even tried to grab the phone. Soon after the story broke, software company Bevy fired Sarley for her racist harassment. Number 26, not fresh Ken. In theory, lawyers should be a model of justice and fairness, but that's definitely not the case for Aaron Schlossberg. With a history of bigoted behavior, in 2018, Schlossberg lost it at Fresh Kitchen in New York City after he was recorded ranting at staff for speaking Spanish and accusing them of being in the U.S. illegally.
Your staff is speaking Spanish to customers when they should be speaking very violent.
A shocking tirade right in the middle of a Manhattan restaurant.
Every person I listen to, he spoke it, she's speaking it, is America.
The community had some fun with him afterward by sending, among other things, a mariachi band to perform outside his work. Soon after, Schlossberg was evicted from his office space by the landlord, and businesses cut ties with his law firm.
This message that we're sending to him is not just to him, it's to every single person in America, every single racist that thinks they can openly attack our communities. Man, there's going to be a response.
In 2020, after being brought up on charges by the Attorney Grievance Committee, officials heavily criticized his behavior and believed the public shame was punishment enough. Number 25, fired up. Not many Karens have resisted arrest in such a dramatic fashion. In 2023, Jennifer Holder allegedly dined and dashed at a restaurant at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
Does somebody else pay for my meal?
After attempting to go through a secure door to escape staff, causing the police to respond, Holder grabbed a fire extinguisher and went on a spray-a-thon through the terminal. No one was exempt from Holder's rampage. Cops, security, flight staff, and even passengers were all engulfed in foam. Three flight staff had to get medical treatment due to breathing issues from the harsh chemicals. Even when the cops arrested her, Holder wasn't done and spat and kicked them. She was charged with several crimes, including battery, assault, and resisting arrest. Number 24, Rage of Rapkin. In 2020, many across the U.S. protested the murder of George Floyd. One such protest was organized by teenager Eric Lucas in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Well, lawyer Stephanie Rapkin wasn't letting that happen and parked her car in the march's path.
The situation unfolded after witnesses say 64-year-old Stephanie Rapkin parked her vehicle on Oakland Avenue, blocking the rally.
After pleading with her to move the vehicle, Rapkin spat at Lucas. During a pandemic. After being arrested and released the following day, protesters arrived at her home to write outside with chalk. Rapkin was detained again after attacking one of them. In 2023, she was given the option of 60 days in jail or probation with 100 hours of community service. Rapkin chose prison by claiming nobody would want her.
Rapkin's attorney asked for time served, saying his client suffered serious reputational harm. But his client,
I would rather go to jail right now,
wasn't on the same page.
Number 23, selfish in Singapore. In 2021, English-born Benjamin Glynn was on his way back from work in Singapore. With the nation having strict pandemic measures in place for mask wearing on public transport, you'd think he'd be sensible and wear one on the train.
Have you researched Bill Gates? Have you researched
But no, to him, masks are a hoax. After being filmed breaking the rules, Glynn was arrested for being a public nuisance. This stopped him from returning to the UK with his family, which meant he lost out on a job he was set to start. Glynn was convicted for his procedure breaking and received a sentence of 6 weeks in prison. However, he was released days later due to time served. The icing on the cake? Glynn was deported from Singapore. Number 22, thieving and eating. It's one level of entitlement to steal items from your partner, but a whole other to grab jewelry that once belonged to his now deceased mother as a keepsake. In 2018, the police arrived in Troy, Michigan to find a very drunk Sylvia Hope Varellin refusing to leave her boyfriend's house and return some jewelry.
This dashcam video allegedly shows Sylvia Varellin in an apparent drunken fight.
No, you're idiot.
This battle started after Varellin's boyfriend called police, saying she wouldn't leave his house and stole jewelry from him.
And she didn't make it easy for the cops. Varellin punched them, kicked them, bit them, spat at them, and tried to grab an officer's firearm. Then it turned out Varellin had swallowed her boyfriend's passed-away mother's earrings.
In the booking process, she actually removed the earrings without knowledge of our staff, and she ingested them.
Police say Varellin was taken to the hospital where she threw up the earrings.
After being taken to the hospital to get the items back, gross, Varellin was charged with numerous crimes, including assaults and resisting arrest. Number 21, Belle Brood. The pandemic really gave Karens a new platform to show their terrible behavior. In 2021, Nordstrom Rack in Austin, Texas enforced a no mask, no entry rule. Cara Bell ignored this, claimed she was exempt, then barged into a changing cubicle.
While police were arriving, Belle was still inside the dressing room, refusing to come out.
Is that your clothes or is that theirs?
That's theirs.
Okay, I need you to take it off and put your clothes on.
Okay, why?
Because they want for you to leave.
However, when she left, the police were waiting. Bell was belligerent to the officers and acted as if she knew more about the law than they did. She then attempted to use her faith to claim the rules don't apply to her. With no patience remaining, the cops arrested her.
The CDC just released...
Turn around.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Play this game.
Oh my gosh.
Bell was handed a citation and banned from the store for at least a year. She was also running to be on the Travis County School Board, but that didn't pan out after all this drama.
Number 20, Collier Karen. Apparently, even walking down a street is enough to get the wrath of a Karen. In 2021, a mother walking down a road in Collier County, Florida, experienced exactly that. They were on a public sidewalk when Patricia Schmidt stopped her car and blared the horn at the two, apparently believing that they were trespassing in the neighborhood. Schmidt then rolled down the window and yelled at them for walking there, before escalating the situation by going on a racist and ableist rant at the child.
Your son, it must be special ed.
Unbelievably, this terrible Karen is an exceptional student education specialist, a teacher who specializes in special needs children at Laley Elementary School. Or we should say was. Schmidt was thankfully fired from her job due to her disgusting behavior.
We're also going to be calling for the revocation of her teaching certificate through the Florida Department of Education.
Number 19, Soho Karen. Losing a cell phone can be a frightening experience that causes people to panic. Even in the panic, any decent person wouldn't go around racial profiling. In 2020, however, while at the Arlo Hotel in Manhattan, New York, a woman named Mia Ponsetto lost her device and accused teenager Keon Harold Jr., the son of musician Keon Harold, of stealing it. Not believing his rejections of the baseless claims, Ponsetto attacked him in the lobby before she was dragged away. Her phone was ultimately found by an Uber driver she'd used. In 2022, Ponsetto pleaded guilty to unlawful imprisonment in the form of a hate crime. For this, she was given a 2-year probation sentence and ordered to attend counseling.
Now, if Ponsetto fails to comply with the terms of the plea deal, she is facing up to 4 years in prison.
Number 18, Cabin Karen.
I'm here, getting ready to go to work, put on a yellow life jacket, point out the exits, hand out chicken or beef. What sort of Friday night is this for me?
Having already been fired by Norwegian Air for allegedly spitting in a passenger's cup of coffee, Joanne Wickenden decided to go even further in 2017. Before work one day, the cabin staff employee for British Airways filmed herself via Snapchat. Wickenden felt it was appropriate to slate her job and go on a racist rant against Nigerians.
All the Nigerians are going to be there like, give me Coca-Cola, give me beef. Why you have no beef left? I want beef.
After the video went out, she claimed she was set up and spurred on by coworkers. An excuse that doesn't really make any of it better.
All the Nigerians, they're all going to be there asking for upgrades because I haven't got enough leg room because all their BBCs are in their way.
Her employers weren't happy and quickly called in Wickenden for a meeting. However, Wickenden says she resigned from British Airways before she was shown the door. Number 17, Barbecue Becky. On a warm day at Lake Merritt in Oakland, California in 2019, a black family was trying to enjoy a barbecue in a dedicated grilling area, only to be interrupted by Jennifer Schultz, a white woman who called 911 on them twice. She harassed them over having a charcoal grill long enough for a bystander to confront her.
It's illegal to have a charcoal grill in the park here.
No, it's not actually. I just looked at the map. It says this is a designated barbecue area.
The video went viral and details a grand 25 minutes of the altercation, in which we get to see exactly how Schultz tries to manipulate the situation and play the victim. She was quickly dubbed Barbecue Becky online, and plenty of memes began to circulate. Even her alma mater, Stanford University, commented on Schultz. We'd say that's karma well served. Number 16, SoCal Karen. Folks in Torrance, California just wanted to go about their business, but if they had Asian heritage, Lena Hernandez wouldn't make the day easy for them.
You know what? I am not a racist person.
You just made a
racist
comment.
You need to go home.
She was known to approach people and spit racist tirades at them. While she escaped punishment for a time, justice eventually came crashing down for Hernandez. In 2019, after verbally assaulting a mall employee, a woman named Casey Lynn Salminau stepped in. Hernandez didn't like this and physically attacked her. It took a while for the police to do anything, but by 2020, Hernandez found herself in court. She pleaded no contest to a charge of misdemeanor battery. As such, the retired social worker got 45 days in jail, anger management classes, and 3 years of probation.
What she did was violent. It was a violent attack to me. So it should have been the maximum amount of 6 months.
And what kind of message does it send to other perpetrators?
Number 15, Plane Karen. Babies on planes can be a recipe for discomfort, but there are ways to go about potentially asking to move seats, and this isn't it. After realizing she was seated next to an infant, the woman in this video, Susan Perez, threw a fit rather reminiscent of that of an infant.
I said, please don't use that language in front of my son. And she turned around and saw me and she said, shut the up.
She then threatened one of the members of the cabin staff with her job, only to learn very swiftly that she was not at liberty to do that sort of thing.
Thank you, Tabitha. You may not have a job tomorrow. I want this lady.
Perez's attitude took a complete 180, but but it was not enough to save her from consequences. When the video went viral online, Perez was suspended from her employment at the New York State Council on the Arts.
Now Perez's name and image have been removed from the council's official website, and she's been placed on a leave of absence.
Number 14, soup skirmish. Working in the service industry can be a thankless job, and being a manager, you have to deal with customer complaints, adding more stress to a tense employment. In 2021, we all witnessed just how brutal it can be when a customer threw a bowl of spicy soup at a restaurant worker.
My eyes were stinging so bad, they were burning, and the spices were all like inside of the top part of my nose.
Reportedly, Amanda Martinez had called to complain about her takeaway soup being so hot that it apparently melted the plastic lid. But it didn't go anywhere. So she went into the restaurant, Sol de Jalisco in Temple, Texas, and argued with manager Janelle Browland.
She just still continued to yell, make a scene.
The act of violence caused Browland injuries, and in 2023, Martinez would plead no contest to assault. She received a 15-month deferred adjudication, 6 days of jail work release, and was fined $800 plus court costs. Number 13, Albany Karen. It might be spelled slightly differently, but we actually have a Karen named Karen for this entry. In 2021, a group of Black women, including local community activist Jamela Anderson, were having a nice time at a restaurant in Albany, New York.
Jamela, why do you call the owner?
I did. He told me to tell you to leave and call the cops.
Then Karen Burton got abusive and went on a racist rant.
You're the problem and you're the
Even when the cops arrived to sort out the problem, Burton could be heard yelling racial slurs at customers and the staff. After the grim video spread online, Burton's employer, Humana, a medical insurance company, fired her and slated her for her hate speech. Plus, Burton was also banned from other establishments in the area. Number 12. Commissioner Karen.
The high-powered woman slammed for berating cops during a traffic stop is breaking her silence.
Hitting the jackpot, another Karen named Karen. In 2018, the police pulled over an unregistered car and impounded it in Tenafly, New Jersey. The car, as it transpired, was being driven by the daughter of Karen Turner. Turner was on the board of commissioners for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and tried to use her power to intimidate the cops who stopped her daughter.
I will be talking to the chief of police, and I will be speaking to the mayor.
The car's registration was 2 years out of date, and an insurance card couldn't be produced at the time of the traffic stop. Turner, upon arriving at the scene where the vehicle was to be impounded, displayed aggressive behavior, requested that officers refer to her as commissioner, and mentioned that she was friends with the mayor. Turner eventually released an apology, resigned from the board, and was fined $1,500.
Turner now says, as a parent, I was upset and uncomfortable with the unfolding events. I regret my tone toward the police officers and use of off-color language.
Number 11. Starbucks Karen. During the pandemic, many businesses globally had a simple rule for customers: wear a face mask. It was government mandated for one thing, but it proved to be too much for some, including one Amberlynn Gillis.
Gillis says she has medical problems, but also says masks are not effective.
One of them, I get shortness of breath, dizziness, and it messes with the heartbeat.
After being refused service at a Starbucks in San Diego, she photographed Lennon Gutierrez and tried to publicly shame the barista on social media. Only it backfired magically. A GoFundMe was created on Gutierrez's behalf that brought in over $105,000. In interviews, Gutierrez stated he planned to put it toward his prospective dance career. With that very public embarrassment, Gillis then issued a lawsuit against the fundraiser's creator, Matt Cowan, for various reasons, in part with the hopes of attaining some of the money from the GoFundMe.
When asked if she has any apology or message to the public,
no, absolutely not. I feel like I need the apology. I've been discriminated against.
Number 10. Kefab Kelly. In 2018, Darion Tolles attempted to go inside his apartment building in St. Louis, Missouri. However, Hillary Brooke Mueller wasn't keen on that idea. She stood in his way and blocked his path. As they spoke, Mueller acted as though she owned the building. She didn't. and kept asking which unit Toles lived in, demanding to see his key fob.
All I'm asking is what unit?
But I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building, you're not the owner.
Even though he had a key to get in, she continued harassing him inside after Toll had to force his way past her.
No.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me? Where are you going?
Once the video was released, many accused Mueller of being racist. However, she claimed it was because she didn't recognize Toll. Regardless, Mueller's employer, Tribeca STL, fired her for her dodgy behavior.
Her now former employer has issued a statement about her firing using the words racism and racial profiling.
Number 9. Texas Karen.
If they are so great in your country, then stay there.
In 2022, a group of 4 Indian American women were walking to their cars after dinner in Plano, Texas. Instead of going home after a nice night, they had to endure the racist tirade of Mexican American Esmeralda Upton.
Go back to India. Why? We don't want you here.
Using a flurry of slurs and insults, the unhinged Upton also struck the women several times and threatened them.
Come closer. Come closer. Oh my God, guys, record. She's hitting me. She's hitting me. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Feeling in danger from the abuse and attacks, they called the cops, who arrived shortly after. Later on, Upton was arrested for assault and making threats. But that's not all. The 4 women filed a civil lawsuit against Upton for the traumatizing incident, which was reported to have been settled in 2025. Number 8. Permit Patty. Have you ever seen a child harmlessly selling something on the street to raise money for something and thought, yeah, I'm gonna ruin their life? If so, you and Allison Edel could be besties.
This woman don't want to let a little girl sell some water.
In 2018 in San Francisco, 8-year-old Jordan Rogers was selling bottled water on the street to help her mom financially and go to Disneyland. Edel, infuriated by the constant noise as she worked from home, called the cops about Rogers' lack of a permit.
You can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Yeah, and illegally selling water without a permit?
As you can imagine, this didn't go down well with the internet, which pointed out the racist overtones. With all that pressure and dispensaries refusing to stock products from Edel's employer, she was forced to resign as CEO of the cannabis company Treatwell Health.
It is Miss Attell's belief that Treatwell, its employees, and patients should not have to suffer because of a situation that occurred in an escalated moment.
Number 7. Victoria's Secret Karen.
This is crazy.
In 2021, something strange happened at a Victoria's Secret store in Millburn, New Jersey, while Ijoma Ukenta was doing some shopping. Ukenta reportedly claimed she asked Abigail Elphick to step back as she was too close when they browsed. So she went to the staff and told them Ukenta threatened her. When Ukenta began filming, Elphick attempted to hit her before she sobbed on the floor.
I never thought nothing like this would happen to me. She just tried to run and hit me. And now she... Did you see her?
Later, Elphick stated her reaction was due to a panic attack from being filmed.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to panic.
In the aftermath, Ukenta created a GoFundMe page for legal costs against Elphick. Within the page, she also criticized the handling of the situation by the security and police. At the time of writing, over $104,000 has been donated. Number 6. Coughing Karen. As most people came together during the global events to support each other, some did their best to do the opposite. In 2021, masked shoppers in a Super Saver store in Lincoln, Nebraska, attempted to get their groceries calmly. However, Janine Hoskovec had other ideas. With a smirk on her unmasked face, she dramatically coughed at people, pretending it was allergies.
Excuse me, I'm coming through.
When folk protested Hoskovec's grotesque actions, she patronizingly called them cute and sheep before descending into a rant about other people's health. After a very quick investigation, her employer, the software company SAP, fired Hoskovec.
Well, guys, a team of internet sleuths quickly identified the woman seen in this video, and in a matter of days, she's now lost her job.
Number 5. Smoothie Thrower. In 2022, employees at Robex in Fairfield, Connecticut were trying to get through the day. Well, not on James Iannozo's watch.
As a person who's had multiple customer service jobs, I've dealt with people like this, and I don't think we get paid enough to deal with it.
After buying a smoothie there, he gave it to his son at home, who had an allergic reaction. After medical attention, Iannozo arrived at the store and launched into a tirade of insults, slurs, and threats.
You don't know who made it?
There's 4 of us here, so we honestly don't.
Ignorant high school kids.
However, the employees claimed he never mentioned the peanut allergy to them. He finished it off by throwing the smoothie at the staff.
49-year-old James Iannozo is seen throwing his shake at the teenage employees.
I'm calling the police.
Well, it all went wrong for Iannozo. Firstly, he was arrested and received 1 year of probation. Then, Iannozo was fired by Merrill Lynch. Finally, he faced a lawsuit from one of the employees. But in September, the case was settled for $7,500. Number 4. San Fran Karen. James Waneo was probably pretty startled in 2020 when he turned around and saw Lisa Alexander staring at him, looking like a mix between a character from Smile and Get Out. At the time, he had just finished writing Black Lives Matter with chalk on a property in San Francisco. Well, Alexander and her husband Robert apparently knew the person who lived there.
And you don't know if I live here or if this is my property.
We actually do know. That's why we're asking.
Oh, really? Because you live here, right? You said so.
Because we know the person who does live here.
Oh, okay.
This is odd since Wanillo actually resided there for years. The couple then called the cops on the activist.
I think they had a problem with the message, and I also believe that they thought I was hurting property values. That's Karen, and she's calling the cops.
Once the video was released, Alexander had to put the website of her company, LaFace Skincare, offline temporarily, and she publicly apologized to Wanillo, while Robert was fired from the financial firm Raymond James. Number 3. Radio Karen. It's not every day a Karen films her own terrible behavior for the world to see and judge.
He's a black man, and he's going to protect the brown man from this white woman.
But Diana Ploss is on another level considering she had a little bit of fame. In 2020, through Facebook Live, the conservative radio host recorded herself berating landscapers in Nashua, New Hampshire, as they were working on the street.
What's the first thing I do? Go for my phone. Gotta do a live stream. Have to show people what's going on.
Ploss seemingly had an issue with the workers speaking Spanish.
Okay, but it is America. It is America. You should be speaking English.
She repeatedly told them to speak in English before asking if any of them were, quote, illegal, and saying their work was, quote, communism. Jeez. Afterward, the radio station WSMN cut ties with Ploss and the show she had hosted there for the past couple of years.
We at WSMN value freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and assembly. We will not tolerate discrimination, racism, or hatred.
Number 2. Family of Karens. In 2021, Johnny Martinez was doing his job by checking cars for permits in the car park of a residential building in Nashville, Tennessee. However, he realized he was being followed by a Karen family duo, Bitsy Brennan and her son Edward. The two demanded to know what he was doing there, ignoring the ID badge around Martinez's neck.
Call the cops.
No, call the cops?
Yeah, this is not your apartment.
It's not my apartment.
Yes.
I don't need to tell you anything.
Do you have an ID on you, maybe?
Things quickly escalated when Edward attempted to attack Martinez in response to him filming the confrontation.
You attacking me? Seriously?
Get that phone out of your mouth.
In response, Bitsy called the cops to come and sort this out. However, the duo apparently left before the police arrived. Once the video went viral, Bitsy was reportedly fired from her job at UBS, while Edward was charged with assault.
Now you're leaving. Okay. Yeah, it's unsafe. Yeah, no worry. I'm gonna have you arrested, buddy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Central Park Karen. If this incident hadn't been filmed, it could have ended poorly for the victim.
She understood the power she wielded at that moment to call police as a white woman on a black man as a scary black man.
In 2020, Christian Cooper was in Central Park in New York City. enjoying some bird watching, but he spotted Amy Cooper, no relation, with her dog that was off its lead, against the park's rules. When Christian asked her to leash the dog and then offered it a treat, Amy exploded. While strangling the poor pup as she held its collar tightly, she called the police, put on an act, and claimed, quote, an African-American man threatened her. Wow.
Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
After the backlash, Amy temporarily gave up her dog to a shelter and was fired by her employer, Franklin Templeton. She later took them to court for illegal dismissal, only to lose.
In a tweet, Cooper's employer, Franklin Templeton Investments, saying they don't tolerate racism of any kind.
If you were creating a team of Karens for a heist, who would you select and why? Let us know below.
People need to be especially concerned about having civil discourse with each other in these times.